Dying from a poison. Only her kind knows she paused when the human cut his own palm. Offering a cure, the medical bay of the Concordia station hummed with alien technology. But nothing could stop what was happening to Seren Valara. She lay on the biobed, her silver-blue skin darkening to ashen gray as poison worked through her veins. The bioluminescent patterns on her arms had gone dark. Dr. Ethan Ward stood over the diagnostic panel, jaw clenched. 37 hours of trying to identify the toxin, and he was no closer. Every test hit the same wall, unknown to human science. It's called Nethris, Seren whispered. You won't find it in any database. Ethan moved to her side. Tell me how it works. I can synthesize an antidote. A weak laugh escaped her lips. Nethris disrupts harmonic frequencies our cells use. Your instruments can't even detect it. Then how do your people cure it? They don't. There is no cure. Only prevention. Ethan checked the chronometer. 48 hours since they'd found her. Whoever poisoned her had counted on human medicine being useless. He pulled up Valthrine physiology data. Humans didn't use harmonic frequencies. They used chemical bonds, electrical signals. Completely different, which meant human cells wouldn't be affected by Nethris. Your cells communicate through resonance, he said. Human cells don't, which means human cellular material wouldn't carry the disruptive frequency. Serene's eyes widened. I don't understand. Stem cells. If we introduce human stem cells into your system, they won't have the resonance pattern. As they integrate with your tissues, they might disrupt the cascade. That's never been done. The rejection protocols are slower than you dying, Ethan finished. He was already preparing the extraction equipment. We have maybe 6 hours. Rejection takes days. You can't. Her voice strengthened with urgency. The extraction is painful. The dosage required. You'd need multiple harvest sites. I know. Ethan secured his arm in the extraction brace. I wrote the paper on this procedure. Ethan, no. I'm not worth. You're a member of this crew, he interrupted. My colleague, my friend. I don't abandon my friends. He paused, and his professional mask slipped. Besides, you still owe me that rematch in Velocity Chess. Serene's eyes widened fully. You're insane. I'm human, he corrected and activated the harvester. The pain was immediate and excruciating. Ethan had performed this procedure hundreds of times on others, but nothing prepared him for having his bone marrow forcibly extracted. His teeth ground together, his other hand clenching the table edge until his knuckles went white, but he didn't stop. 2 minutes that felt like 2 hours. Not enough. The system calculated 3 more extraction points needed. Ethan moved the brace to his sternum. The second extraction was worse. Stop, Seren begged. Please, Ethan, stop. He didn't. Not for the third extraction from his hip. Not for the fourth from his spine. By the time the harvester released him, his vision swam and he tasted blood where he'd bitten through his lip. With shaking hands, he prepared the cellular suspension. The stem cells floated like microscopic stars, each carrying the potential to become whatever was needed. He added integration catalysts, immunosuppressants, bonding agents. Then with the last of his strength, he began Seren's infusion. Nothing changed for 20 minutes. Ethan slumped in a chair, every bone aching, watching the monitors with exhausted determination. Then slowly the readings shifted. Serene's cellular harmonics were stabilizing. The cascade was slowing. Her bioluminescent patterns flickered, dimmed, then held steady. Her labored breathing began to even out. 3 hours later, the station's chief medical officer arrived, summoned by automated alerts. She found them both unconscious but alive. Seren's biosigns were stable, her body purging the Nethris as human stem cells created pockets of harmonic silence. Ethan was in metabolic shock from the extractions, but his vitals were strong. When Seren woke 2 days later, Ethan was in the bed next to hers reading a datapad. He looked up when she moved. You're alive, he said, relief unmistakable in his voice. Thanks to you. Seren's voice was steady now, her color returned. You mutilated yourself, violated every protocol, risked your career and your life. Yes, why? Ethan was quiet for a moment. Because that's what humans do. We don't accept the impossible. We don't abandon our own. When someone says there's no cure, we make one. He smiled, wincing as the movement pulled at his healing sternum. Besides, what kind of doctor would I be if I let my best Velocity Chess opponent die? Seren felt something strange in her chest. In all her years studying humans, She'd never quite understood what made them so stubborn, so willing to break themselves to save others, so ready to do the impossible simply because they refused to accept it couldn't be done. Now, feeling the foreign cells integrated into her body, each one a piece of the man who had carved himself open to save her, she understood. "The Conclave was wrong about your kind," she said softly. "They said humans were dangerous because of your weapons, your aggression. But that's not why you're dangerous, oh?" Ethan raised an eyebrow. "You're dangerous because you're too stubborn to let anyone die if you can help it, because you'll burn yourselves to ashes to light the way for others." Ethan considered this, then nodded. "Yeah, that sounds about right." He set down his datapad. "So when you're feeling better, velocity chess. You owe me a rematch." Despite everything, Seren found herself laughing. "You have a deal, Dr. Ward. Though I should warn you, now that I have human cells, I might play even better." "We'll see about that." Outside, the Concordia station continued its eternal orbit. And in the files of interspecies medicine, a new protocol was being written. One that would never be officially approved, but would be quietly studied and remembered. Not as a miracle of science, but as a testament to what one human would do when told that saving a life was impossible. The answer, as always, was simple: prove them wrong.